The Just Cause series is the equivalent of an absurd action movie franchise turned into a video game series. Imagine the most recent Fast and the Furious movie stunts, but in a video game. With the new destructive weather system, grappling hook mods, and a new playground, Just Cause 4 hopes to up the ante. Let's see how well that turned out. Just Cause 4 takes place in the fictional South American country of Solis. It's a beautiful, lush backdrop, but one that's being torn apart by the evil Black Hand. As the world's most powerful private army, the Black Hand has taken over Solis, enslaving its people and using the country as an experimental playground for its destructive weather system. Upon finding some evidence that his late father was working with the Black Hand, Rico Rodriguez dives into Solis working with the locals to create a resistance and save Solis, hopefully getting to the bottom of his father's past as well. It's a story that isn't something new or revolutionary for the series. Rico has to take on a new dictator and put a stop to their corruption. That's Rico's bread and butter. The cast of characters fighting alongside him, though, are quite admirable. Mira Morales and Luis are Rico's new right-hand man and woman as they help lead the army of chaos against the Black Hand, both growing up in the slums of this new battlefield, now just trying to save their home. Despite Rico and Mira occasionally butting heads, I love their interactions, especially with the mentor figure that Rico is to Luis at times. Luis just wanting to be a badass rebel while Rico sort of just keeps him in check.
In the shit, like you.
Guess what? We're in the shit right now.
The actors portraying the trio also do a stellar job capturing their motivations and quirks. Oddly enough, I didn't even realize that Rico is actually being played by a whole new actor this time, Orion Akaba instead of Just Cause 3's Kevin Collins. Despite the change, the performance by Orion fits right in place, speaking to his ability to play Rico as a character. If you play Just Cause 3, then Just Cause 4 will feel familiar to you, and that's a trend for this review, both for the better and for the worse. All the destructive and chaotic absurdity of Just Cause 3 is back. Using his iconic grappling hook, Rico can shoot and swing across Solis like a weird cross between a Hispanic Old Man Logan and Spider-Man. However, this time Rico has new mods for his grappling hook that put an interesting twist on things. Where previously you could latch onto things and connect different objects, now you have an assortment of new add-ons. Balloons can make heavy objects float into the air, and thrusters can add a boost to stationary objects. Through the pretty accessible mod menu, you can control how and when these mods activate for some pretty stream-worthy creations. Add some boosters to your car, or spend a few minutes turning a boat into a badass speed flying boat. At least that's what I was trying to do here. It may have not turned out so well. I spent a handful of hours just trying to create as much destruction and havoc as I could. Attaching thrusters to giant propane tanks and just wrecking entire factories is so much fun, but it's fun that's rather shallow. While blowing stuff up in both a figurative and literal sense is a blast, it doesn't expand too much upon Just Cause 3. A lot of the story missions throughout the campaign can be boiled down to escort missions where you have to deliver some soldiers within a time limit or activate a handful of switches. They come off as feeling like padding to the story, but they also make up the majority of the missions. They're basically chores as they're tied to the region strikes in the game. Region strikes have you slowly destroying the Black Hand's resources as you gain more support for the rebellion. As it grows in size, you'll be able to gain back more of Solis' territory. That in part feels like a reward because despite how shallow some of the story missions are, Solis as a backdrop and a setting is a beautiful and an entertaining playground. Exploring it, you'll come across all kinds of different terrains and, new to the series, destructive extreme weather. Now while visually they look completely astonishing, in practice they're more of a short amusing time. Don't get me wrong, seeing a tornado off in the distance forming is incredible, but up close, it doesn't feel as impactful to the environment. Sure, the winds will get stronger and you'll blow alongside it if you're in a vehicle, but the lasting impact on the environment feels like it's missing. If anything, they're visually jaw-dropping. Being in the middle of a thunderstorm that fries everything in its path is awesome, but I would have loved to see that destruction actually leave a mark on the world. To the game's credit though, the Black Hand does use these storms to their advantage by creating these super advanced weapons out of them. That also means that you can steal these weapons and use them for yourself. Ultimately, Just Cause 4 just doesn't do a lot of new things for the series. In terms of gameplay alone, Just Cause 4 feels more like Just Cause 3.5. There are some new additions to the gameplay like the destructive weather, grappling hook mods, and the country of Solis as a backdrop, but it all feels like minute changes rather than a whole new evolution to the series. That's not necessarily a bad thing because Just Cause 3 was an amusing game that was just as destructive in its own way. Its main issue was its terrible performance across consoles and PCs at the time, and that's actually where Just Cause 4 gets its biggest improvement. Where Just Cause 3 was plagued with framerate issues that basically made it unplayable on some consoles, that's all fixed up in Just Cause 4. Playing it on the PS4 Pro for review, I hardly noticed any frame rate drops during the traditional gameplay, even when I was doing my best to try to blow up everything in sight. Oddly enough, the one time I constantly saw frame rate dips was in the map overview. Trying to hover across the map of Solis was somehow the most straining part of the game for my PS4. Not the biggest issue for the visuals though. That was actually the rest of the game. Sure, Just Cause 4 runs much better than its predecessor, but on consoles, it looks like a bad console launch game. There's constant pop-in throughout the world, whether it's lighting or objects themselves, cutscenes are compressed to hell and just look terrible, some of the textures in fact look like they were ripped out of the PS2 era, but even then I feel like I'm being too mean to some PS2 games. It's disappointing because you have these insane looking weather effects and Solis landscapes that look absolutely beautiful, but as you look deeper, you start to notice that it's all covered in blemishes. As for general performance, PS4 renders the game at 720p 30 and 1080p 30 on the PS4 Pro. Xbox One S performs at a similar mark to the base PS4, while the Xbox One X looks to run at somewhere near 1440p 30. Of course, like most multi-platform games out there, if you have a current or up-to-date PC, then that's probably the platform to go with in this case.
Keep at it, people.
Command, we have an intruder on site.
Copy on hostile contact. Free to engage.
Look at you, you handsome devil. Garland King, you've heard of me.
No, but I've heard you can help the Army of Chaos.
Let's not worry about that now. Come on, walk with me.
Just Cause 4 features a variety of different licensed songs that make up the culture of Solis. While I'm personally not too into the songs myself, I can't even play them here because of the copyright issues, they at least feel fitting to the people of Solis. What I would personally commend Just Cause 4's audio design for would be the voice acting. Performances across the board are great. I love the little conversations characters have during missions, at least when the game plays them right. I've had a few lines repeat themselves a few times, especially with NPC characters. The main cast, however, does a great job at delivering an action movie in the form of a video game. Just Cause 4 does improve upon Just Cause 3, but it doesn't do it enough to really feel like worthy of a sequel. That's not to say that it's not a fun game, because exploding, exploring, and crafting idiotic creations in Solis is a great time. With that said, it's shallow in the sense that I find myself doing it for a few hours, then walking away and just coming back to it to mess around with things again. That's fun, but the story, especially its missions, just didn't really capture my attention that much. While the performance issues of Just Cause 3 are fixed now, I have to wonder if it came at the cost of Just Cause 4 looking even worse than Just Cause 3 at times. In all those aspects, Just Cause 4 is entertaining and fun in the same way you'd play a physics simulator game. You're playing it for the curiosity of just how broken you can make things, not so much for its deep story or lore. If you're just looking for sandbox hijinks, then Just Cause 4 is for you, but it certainly could have used a big new feature that really made it stand out or feel like an evolution for the series. If you were looking for something like that in a sequel to Just Cause 3, then I'd recommend waiting on the sale for this one. I give Just Cause 4 a 7 out of 10. Thank you all very much for watching my review. If you liked it, then consider sharing it around and subscribing. I upload new reviews on the latest video games about every single week. You can also find my gaming usernames and social network links like my Discord in the description down below. Hope you all have a great day and keep on gaming.